Let's talk about modifiers. Modifiers give you the ability to manipulate the data of your variables on the fly. You can know that because it says so in the docs. Okay, so let's jump right in. We've got a string. Good burritos don't fall apart. Let's dive into our template. It's being rendered as this variable here in this template. Now, if you haven't watched any videos or read the docs on YAML or Antlers templates, which is our template language, you should probably go and do your due diligence there. It's not hard. Check it out. Come on back. So this is rendering that string, good burritos don't fall apart. Now, if I want to manipulate that, say I want it to be all uppercase for some reason, I don't feel like using CSS, space, pipe, space. This tells the template language we're going to start manipulating the data with modifiers. And upper is the name of the one that does the uppercase transformation. There's also lower or slugify, for example, which takes the spaces and replaces them with hyphens and makes it all lowercase, which you can use in case you want to make unique IDs for your content and all that kind of thing. Good? Good. Now you can chain these. You can have multiple modifiers, and they are applied in the order that you write them from left to right, starting with title case, put another space, another pipe. Now we're into a new modifier, and say we want to add some text at the end here, and ensure right. If you have to pass a parameter into a modifier, the syntax is colon, and then everything that comes after that colon up until the next pipe is what gets passed in. So let's say is the best, right? Let's render that. And we have these two modifiers applied. Now, the order of the operations is important. See how we have the first part of the string is rendered in title case, but the rest is not. I'm sure we could fix it here, or you could be super sure and apply that one last. So that's something good to know. Now there's another style of modifier that's used on arrays. Okay, so let's come back and uncomment this. We've got a list. It's being pulled from this YAML list right here, and we're just looping through the values in it. Nothing fancy. If we were to do a standard string modifier here, like limit 1 to take just the first item from the list and render that, you're going to see some broken code. We've got this unclosed list. It can't find the top and the bottom of this tag, and that's a problem. So we actually have a different syntax to solve this, and it's better for a number of reasons. No pipes, just parameters, in a way that looks a lot like just tag params for the native tags that Statamic has, like collection and taxonomies and whatnot. So just limit 1 with a equals and parentheses, standard HTML style. You save that, and everything's good. I mean, everything should be good. Yeah, once it renders. And you can chain these as well. So if you wanted to do like, I don't know, like limit 2, and then reverse, I guess. Jazzwave, is that it? That's not one. Let's take a look at a utility in array 1. Shuffle. Okay, shuffle would randomize it. So we're gonna come back. Now it's gonna randomize 2. This is a really bad example. If we randomize it first and then do a limit 1, see how the order matters here? Reebok pumps. And refresh it. It's gonna pick a different one every time. Maybe the same one, but that's how random works. Okay, so this syntax is for arrays, and this syntax with the pipes is for strings. You following so far? Now let's get into the exceptions. This syntax totally works on strings as well, which is cool because it does let you do things like work with characters that would normally be reserved. For example, that colon, when you're passing a parameter in, if we wanted to do ensures right, all right, so we put our pipe in here, ensure right is the best. That's not going to render because it's choking on this colon here. See, nothing's going to happen. But if we use that parameter style syntax designed for the arrays, it'll work. Yeah.
So that's a good trick. You don't often have to use it. Maybe just like the style of this better visually. That's fine. Just use it everywhere. That's no problem. One other thing worth noting is that when you have a modifier that doesn't have any parameters, it's just like the word, when you're just doing like upper or lower, you don't have to pass anything into that string. So like upper is true. This will work. Just empty strings, but that looks, I don't know, it looks like unfinished or broken. So we prefer just to use like true or yup or yuppers if you want to annoy everybody. Exception number 2, let's comment that out. Actually, we don't need this. You can use the list style or the string style on an array if you're turning that array into a string along the way. So an example of that is list, turn it into an ordered list, and that'll render. That'll render just fine. Whoa! No, it didn't. What did we do wrong? Okay, it was actually trying to process the rest of that because it was commented out in HTML comments, not Statamic comments, which look like this. That would have been safer. That should work. Yep. All right. Okay, so the order of this still applies. So if I want to do limit 1 and then pipe over here, limit 2, this will still work. Because ultimately you're rendering it as a string. Or, it is a string. It's rendering the HTML for you. So that's pretty much the basics of modifiers. They are grouped into all different sections. There's ones for strings, utilities, arrays, dates, stuff that writes markup for you, conditions that pass true and false, helpers to pull related data from other entries if you're working with IDs. They're really powerful, and they really are a fundamental piece of the Statamic framework. So learn them, use them, love them, and hopefully that's helpful.